Hello guys, welcome to my channel and today I'm here to talk about episode number 22 of Tokyo Revengers. So what I feared ended up happening in this episode. I said it in my previous video that I do not want Kazutora to realize that he's done something wrong and for them to forgive him, etc. I didn't want that to happen and that's exactly what ended up happening and I didn't like it. If you're gonna go with Kazutora being, just blaming everything on Mikey, then just keep that facade up instead of just, making him realize that he's done something wrong. Like in terms of Baji, okay, him realizing that he just lost Baji, that's fine. Baji was his closest friend, like that's understandable. But then him just asking for forgiveness from like Mikey, not asking for forgiveness, but he was like, it was my own fault and stuff against like in front of Mikey and everyone. I didn't like it. I always wanted Kazutora to just in his head believe that it was all Mikey's fault. Even Baji dying here is all Mikey's fault. I wish that he would just believe that. But it is what it is. Like I didn't like it. He's been now sent to prison. And the one thing I'm worried about is that if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen way into the future. Like in terms of story wise, it's gonna be happening way later down the road. But I just want, like, since this has happened, I don't want Kazutora to be in the story, but I feel like in the future, since right now story is like that Takemichi is really young and in the present time like Takemichi is older, so I think so there's at least a difference of 10 years, and since Kazutora's sentence is for like 10 years only, I just have a feeling that Kazutora is gonna come and save the day at some point in the future. That's what I'm worried about, because as I said, I don't want Kazutora to play any role in the story. I don't want that, but it's way into the future. Maybe by that point I would have I would have forgotten about Kazutora in the sense of like I wouldn't hate him that much right now. Like at that point I wouldn't hate him. Maybe like that him coming to save the day would be like a really hype moment. Maybe that ends up happening, but I don't know. I just didn't want Kazutora to just apologize and everything. But it is what it is. Now let's talk about the good stuff. But before that, just one point, like Hanma just stood up and just left. They are not doing Hanma's character justice. They really aren't. They just aren't. They ruined Hanma's character, honestly. Like he first got one shot by Mikey and then he just stands up and just leaves. Nah, I didn't like it. Sorry. Like Hanma's character also, they didn't body. He didn't deserve that. He was such a cool character. I feel like his cool factor has gone down a lot, and it's gonna be difficult to bring it back up again. There's nothing more I want to say about that. Let's just move on to the good stuff. And that were the two flashbacks. So first of all, where they formed, Toman gang, and they all were together. At that point they weren't even a gang, right? They were just hanging out and having fun, and then they decided, let's make a gang. And they went and bought that charm, and that was also like they didn't have any money. They just had money enough to buy one of those charms, and ended up buying that and giving it to Baji, since Baji was the one who was like, let's make a gang. So it was Baji who ended up forming the gang, even though he wasn't the president. He chose Mikey as the president, and not he, like everybody would have definitely chosen Mikey as the president. So that was all good to see. As I said, I enjoyed that. And the best part of this episode was Chifuyu and Baji's backstory, because I really liked that. Like their friendship was really good. Chifuyu, like I'm gonna call him Matsuno, because Chifuyu, like saying that is a bit difficult, so I'm gonna call him Matsuno. So Matsuno, he was a delinquent. He was just going on like beating everybody in the school. And Baji, I think so, transferred to that school, but like he had to repeat the class again, or either he just had to repeat the class in that school only. I don't exactly remember, but he was there. And Matsuno heard about Baji. He's like, okay, he's senior than us. Let's go and beat him up, right? That's what they went. And he just saw Baji, and Baji's there with glasses and just like combed and oiled hair, looking like a person who focuses on studies and stuff. And they're also like, why is this guy, like, why did he have to repeat a class? He looks like he's the person who studies, but he was doing it for his mother because he didn't want his mother to cry. And I'll talk about that point later. I'll bring that up. So he just didn't want that to happen. And it was just great seeing Matsuno and Baji, like Matsuno helping Baji, in terms of like him writing something. He was writing a letter, I don't know to whom, maybe he was writing it to Kazutora. Since Kazutora is in prison, maybe he was writing it to him, or Mikey, or who knows who he was writing it to, but whatever it was nice seeing Matsuno help him. And then Baji showing up later to help Matsuno, that was also hype. Him just declaring that he's the, I think so, he's the first squad captain, right? Baji. Like him showing up was cool. I enjoyed their backstory a lot. And as I told about that mother point where he didn't want his mother to cry, Baji died. What about his mother? Since he cared about her so much, I know it's an anime story wise, he was like, it's a fatal wound, I'll die. How the fuck does Baji know it's a fatal wound? You always have a chance of surviving. And if you cared so much about your mother, as we understand from the backstory, why would you just kill yourself and not think about her even for once? Well, I'm just gonna ignore that because that's the only thing I can do. But if he cared about his mother that much, I don't think so killing himself so that Kazutora doesn't have to deal with the burden is the right move to make. You should have at least waited for the ambulance to show up. Try to save yourself, at least for your mother, if not for yourself. If you cared for her that much, which is shown, like you didn't want her to cry. There are just some points that I noticed and I just want to bring them up because I really like Tokyo Revengers, but then it's been 2 episodes where things are just not going good and things that are happening, I'm not enjoying them. So I just have to bring it up, It's not gonna just sit here and say I enjoyed everything when I did not. So like that point, as I said, does not bother me that much about his mother. Kazutora one bothers me a lot, but that one I'm just like, okay, it doesn't matter, right? But still there's a point I noticed. If he cared about his mother that much, why did he end up killing himself? Whatever. That was episode number 22. Hopefully from the next episode things pick up back again, like they become good, hopefully. So that was it for episode number 22. Let me know what did you guys feel about it in the comments below. And also let me know if you agree, disagree with the points I made. And I will be here for episode number 23 next week. So till then, have a great time. I'll meet you in the next one.